Good morning, 28 minutes to 12 right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Today is Friday, the 17th day in the month of May 2024. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing great today. So yes, you're tuned into Women Radio, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. So at this very moment, I will bring you this program from Center for Gender Economics, that's CGE Africa, all right? And today we are looking at all the women's well-being in Nigeria. All right, so this program is definitely coming to you from Center for Gender Economics in Africa. So in short, you can just say CGE Africa. And today on the program, we're looking at mobility in older women, challenges and recommendations. All right, so that's what we're looking at today under older women's well-being in Nigeria, and we're looking at mobility in older women, challenges and recommendations. So you would wonder, older women mobility, and when you hear mobility, you know it has to do with movement. So don't worry, we'll get to let you know or bring you in on the full discussion, because today I'm sure that for those of you who have older women at home, or rather you have your moms or your grandmoms who are getting old and they're beginning to have some issues with mobility, this is just the right program for you to hear and listen. And even if you don't have any around, I'm sure that you would definitely get this information to share around with those that have one or two old women or women who are getting to that age around them. All right, so you know what to do and how to go about this. All right, so yes, if you've been following our conversations, the last time still on CGE Africa, we had a program on older women too, and today again we are coming up with this, all right, to talk about older women's well-being in Nigeria. And today we're specifically concentrating on the mobility. All right, so doing this with me this morning is Chioma Olowu. She is the Program Officer, Center for Gender Economics in Africa. Good morning, Chioma. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you as well?
I'm okay. Thank you so much for asking. How's your week been?
It's been great. How has yours been?
A bit hectic too, but it's been okay. It's been okay. All right, thank you, Chioma. So let's head on straight to our conversation for the day. All right, we're looking at mobility in older women, challenges and recommendations. Now we know that once one is getting old, at a young age, you're able to move around, you're able to do a lot of things. But one age starts setting in, when you're getting to the older version of yourself, sometimes movements could actually be a challenge, and you might struggle with it once in a while, and hopefully there's no other maybe health challenge that would make you just be immobile. All right, so but for now, let's look at how this could actually get to affect older women. So let us know about what mobility is when it comes to older women, and why it is really important for us to talk about this.
Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Chioma Olowu, Program Officer for Center for Gender Economics. Good morning, everyone. So I'll start by saying that mobility itself is the cornerstone of independence, particularly for those older women, as it goes beyond just their physical movement. Firstly, mobility allows these women to have total control of their daily lives, their daily activities. They are being able to move freely, and also they are able to perform their various routine tasks, because I know that some women, especially my grandma, she likes to do things on her own. It's not because she wants to do it, it's because these things helps their joints, their muscles, because when she stays at a place, once you start ticking, you begin to have joint pains, and all this leads to stroke and the like. So for them, it helps them to have control of their daily life. It is very important, because once you are not mobile, you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere. So being able to move freely for these women will enable them to perform their various tasks, such as grocery shopping. Some of them like to cook, some like to go to the market, some of them also like to attend events such as parties, some like to visit their friends and their families, attend social gatherings, and while some of them also like to participate in recreational activities. So these are part of the reasons why mobility is very important to these women. Mobility also for these women is very closely linked to social connections, linked to social connections and mental well-being because for instance, for some older women, especially those women who are widows, who live alone, it is not good for them to stay alone. The ability for them to be mobile is very important because it will help them to stay connected to their friends, to their families, so that they remove the feeling of isolation is the barrier is broken. They have to mix up with people, interact, they have face-to-face interaction and they feel this sense of belonging. They have this fulfillment. Most of these women love to gist. I think gisting is a normal thing for we women. So when they are not moved, they can't see people, they can't see their families and their friends, and this starts to bring in this feeling of isolation and frustration. And for some of these women, they can die. Loneliness can kill, so does isolation. It can lead to depression for most of these women. So it is very important that these women stay mobile. So there are some of these women that like to party as well. They all want to see their friends and have fun together. All this will remove the setback that isolation and loneliness bring. So for some of these women as well, it is essential for them because they have to access healthcare services.
Yeah.
At age, some of them are on specialized treatment plans. So they also have to go for their routine checks and all. So most of them are coming from a very far distance and they have to travel to ensure timely access to this treatment. So this will be significant for their health. If they are not mobile, it's going to have an insignificant impact on them. It is also very important for these women because it will help to promote their health and their well-being in the sense that they have to engage in regular physical activities, either by walking, as simple as walking it goes a long way for these women, or exercising their body. Exercising can even be as little as sweeping. That alone goes a long way for them, or even gardening. All of this will help to improve their heart, their muscles, their joints. They are not stiff, to make them flexible. They have to stay active so that this will reduce the risk of heart conditions, obesity, arthritis, and will in turn enhance their vitality and their overall quality of life. So these are the reasons why mobility is important for this women. So moving on, I would like to talk about what those challenges, what are those challenges the women face? Mobility at the age. So in Nigeria, in Lagos to be precise, for these older women, they face numerous challenges. I'll start by talking about transportation. Of course, we know how Lagos is the transport, the traffic and all. So some of these women face challenges with transportation because most of our transport system, they're not designed to accommodate the needs of these older women. For instance, seating arrangements in public buses, they don't prioritize these women, they don't put them into consideration in the sense that when you enter a bus, people just sit anywhere they like. There are no consideration for these women. At least if there was a rule that says this place is where older women should stay, this side is for children, but there is nothing like that in our public transport system. Also to add that accessing these transportation services can be very difficult for these women who may live in far places with limited public transport options. So this lack of access can restrict their accessibility to travel, and it will in turn lead to social isolation for these women, and they will not be able to participate in their community activities. So most times when I'm on a bus and I see older women struggle, I can only give my tips to one. So I wish other people could think like me. So once we can all think alike and help these women, the world will be a better place really. So moving on, I'll also talk about lack of prioritized sitting position. Women are not prioritized when it comes to sitting settings in local buses, and this could lead to the injury or fall of some of these women because most of them have to stand for long. Imagine those that have problematic situations, they have some really deep health conditions and they have to stand for long. So this is actually not good for their health. So they do not have any assistance, no sitting position that will help them to navigate their way around. So this makes mobility very difficult for them. So, and also, are we talking about inaccessible transportation facilities? Most of these public transport facilities, they lack features such as ramps and lifts, making it difficult for these women who have mobility impairments. It is known that most of these women are in wheelchair. So they can't even access bus stations. They can't access train stations. Without these features, these women will not be able to move. They won't be able to go to where they are going. Some won't be able to board. They'll face barriers. Even when they board, they'll face barriers boarding, and even when they want to alight from the vehicle. So this is a challenge for these women, and it will lead to the exclusion of these women who rely on this public transport for their daily needs. Then I'll also talk about decreased balance and coordination. As we all know, as we age, there are changes that occur with our balance and with our level of coordination. All these are all natural process of aging. So these physical limitations can make it very difficult for these women to navigate their environment safely, especially in places that are very crowded or when they have to use the stairs. So imagine a 60-year-old woman that is struggling or finding it difficult to climb the stairs of a building without a lift. So this is actually a problem for these women. Then lastly, I'll talk about the age-related issues such as arthritis and neurological conditions, which can cause stiffness, pain, and joint issues for these women, making it difficult for them to navigate the environment. Even inflammation of the joints can cause challenges for these women because they won't be able to move around. To make simple tasks such as walking more challenging for them. Imagine a woman in her 70s struggling to catch up with a bus. So these are these are challenges.
Talking about this, yesterday on my way to work, I saw an old woman who, stopped our bus and wanted to get in. And it gave me, it's not, now that you're talking about it, I just recalled it. Before entering the bus, it took her a lot of strength and energy. And in my mind, it was like, why should this woman be walking all alone? That's what came to my mind. And the driver had to actually assist her to get into the bus. Now, thankfully, the front was actually empty, so I think that was where she was able to sit down and be a bit comfortable, because if she sat at the back, her legs will not, it will not be comfortable for her legs. So talking about some of these challenges, these are some of the things that we should actually watch out. I just thought to mention this because I saw it yesterday, and you talking about it now actually understand where you are taking this from.
Thank you very much for your observation. So moving on, I would like to talk about recommendations. What can be done? How can we help these women? So I would say that recommendations, all this lies in a coordinated effort of the healthcare providers, the policy makers, the urban planners, and we as families. Very important. We must come together to address these challenges. Firstly, we must advocate for an age-friendly environment for these women. It includes accessible transport for these women. There should be safe walkways for them. There should also be sitting areas, rest stops, and shades along walking routes where these women can rest and recharge during their travels. And also, apart from traffic rules and speed bumps and traffic signal and pedestrian crossing, awareness campaign will go a long way. It will help on safe driving. When you train drivers on safe driving practices, that can help raise awareness among motorists, especially motorists, about the importance of sharing the road with these women that are very vulnerable to the road. I think this awareness campaign will go a long way as well. And also, the government should prioritize providing mobility aids and any assistive device that will aid these women. They should prioritize funding support for the provision of wheelchairs, canes, and anything that can aid their movement. It should be a priority to the government. Most importantly, this aid should be made affordable and should be accessible to these women. Also, we should support healthy aging. The truth remains that in our little way, we can influence someone's life. We can encourage our youth. We can encourage them to engage in regular physical activities, such as taking a walk with them. Most of them don't like to walk alone, so we can choose to take a walk with them, either in the morning or in the evening. Regular exercise, taking them for their routine checkups, and so on. All of this can help reduce the risk of chronic health conditions that arise as we age. And age-related issues. So moving on, I'll be also talking about fostering social connections, and I'll
Okay.
be a bit lengthy on this because it's very important for these women. So,
Mm-hmm.
under fostering social connections, we have local community center that can host support groups for these women that are faced with these challenges. So, this group they can provide a platform for these women to come and share their experiences, their advice, and offer mutual support to these women. For instance, in a community, you can volunteer to organize regular outings for these women to in venues that are accessible for all of them. They can come together and socialize in an inclusive environment. Also, we have the neighborhood network. These women can build a network within their neighborhood. It could be in their compound or in their street. So
Mm.
when this happens, you see that these women can will create a support network where they will assist each other with errands like going to the market or even helping each other with transportation. So this will help to create an inclusive environment for them. A neighbor can offer to accompany them to the store, easing them the burden of navigating the busy street alone as well. Then we as families, we can start by regularly, as much as we can. We
Mm.
should call our mothers, our aunties, our grandmas, do video calls, visit them, cook for them, provide emotional support to them. This removes every form of isolation and make them feel loved. Most times I take weekend off to visit my parents, cook for them, wash for them, run errands for them. This makes them happy and it makes them feel like, oh, really, she has not forgotten me because she's married. So we have to, despite our busy schedule, imbibe this culture so that we can help them to stay active and happy. Technology as well and social media is also another good recommendation because some of these women they are homebound.
Mm.
So social media platform like WhatsApp, video calling will help them to stay connected with their friends, with their families, and their support groups. And lastly, peer support group program also allow those women to connect with individuals who share similar experiences and challenges as they do. For instance, we at CG Africa, we organize a well-being party for our elderly women
Okay.
where they come together, they eat, they drink, they have fun, they catch up on good times, they relax. All these activities help these women to connect and to feel that sense of belonging and fulfillment. And we are also embarking on a proposed intervention with an organization to address these mobility issues in older women.
Hmm.
It's like a train the trainers kind of intervention where selected bus drivers will be trained on this major mobility issue. This issue for us, it is not just a topic to talk about. It is
Hmm.
an intervention that we want to act upon. So there should also be a need for targeted healthcare interventions, regular screening for conditions that affect this mobility, such as heart diseases, stroke, arthritis. All of this should be a standard practice for us in Nigeria.
Hmm.
So I'll stop here for now.
All right, Chioma, thank you so much for taking us through, the concept of mobility, how it is important to older women. You also talked about the challenges that women face with mobility that we get to see every day. Every day you get to witness it, but maybe it's not something that has, come to you consciously. But every day of our lives, we get to experience all of this. And you also gave us some recommendations, all right? And you spoke about a lot about some programs that the CGE Africa is doing as regards women's mobility. So thank you very much, Chioma, this morning for all of this. But now my question is, at what age do we start putting all of this do we start seeing some of these challenges, and then from the recommendations that you have mentioned, we start bringing in some of these recommendations to help these women, so that at the end of the day mobility is not that much of a problem to them? So at what age do we start noticing some of these mobility issues, and then some of the recommendations you have given can actually come in?
Yeah, so for women, I think at the age of 60, from research, at the age of 60,
Okay.
so this should be a concern for us. So we should start putting these recommendations into our mothers, for our aunties, for our grandmas. So at this particular age, I think we should help them with their routine checkups, people that need to do exercise, taking a walk, anything that will make them to be static, we should try as much as we can to avoid it for them. So in conclusion as well, addressing these issues requires a coordinated effort, like I said, involving government agencies, transport agencies, community organizations, and healthcare providers. So by implementing these recommendations and prioritizing the needs of these older women in transportation planning and infrastructure development, we can create a more inclusive and age-friendly communities where these women will age with dignity and independence. So it is very important that as we age, or if we start to notice changes in our mothers, in our aunties, we can help them with these simple tips today that I shared so that they can live a healthy and fulfilling lives.
All right, thank you very much. So let's hear your concluding thoughts on all of what you have talked to us about this morning.
So for my concluding thoughts, I feel like in anywhere we are, wherever we find ourselves, if there's someone that is in need of all of these recommendations, that need our support in any way we can support them, if it's by running errands for them, if it's by giving them a lift to where they are, if it's by supporting them, buying their drugs, which is also influencing in their lives, we should, as little as we can, try to help them. Because most times, the way the world is now, people are scared of helping people. But not everybody is actually a bad person. There are people who need this help, especially these older women. So in the ways we can, we should try to help them. If we need to buy their drugs for them, we can help them. I went for a workshop, and there was something a lady said. She said there are people's drugs that are very cheap for a month that you think you can't afford, but you can actually afford it. So you can talk to these women, ask them what their challenges are. If it's drugs, you can always support them, help them get that drug. Some of them have to live on that drugs for life. Some of them, they need this support, but they do not have it. So we should try to converse with them, especially our parents. We should not isolate them. They may be facing issues that we do not even know, except we talk to them, except we ask. So when we find out what these issues are, we should try to help them, especially if it has to do with old age. So we should try as much as we can to stay connected to our mothers, help them in any way that we can, no matter how busy we are or how busy our day or week or month will be. We should just try to create time for these women, give them listening ears, get them gadgets that can keep them close to us, and do not isolate them because of these gadgets. You should also try to create time and visit them as well, get their drugs for them, help them with their routine exercise, routine checkups, and anything that you can do that will help to elongate their stay. Just try to do that. So this is my concluding thought.
All right. Thank you so much, Chioma. Thank you for, I would say, educating us today, because a lot of us might have, older women around us and we don't know how to go about it, or sometimes we just get frustrated because we always have to be there, to give them the support they need. Meanwhile, it will seem as if we're putting our own lives on hold. But there's a way that all of this could actually happen, and you have just given us all of those recommendations. So thank you so much, Chioma, for coming on the program this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a great weekend ahead.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So that's Chioma Olowu, and she's a program officer, Center for Gender Economics in Africa. And today we looked at mobility in older women, challenges and recommendations. All right. And this is all under older women's well-being in Nigeria, coming from CGE Africa, that's Center for Gender Economics in Africa, right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Well, until next time, where we get to talk about, other aspects of health when it comes to older women, do want to stay tuned to Women Radio WFM 91.7. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Coming up next at 12 is the news. Good morning.
WFM 91.7.